Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, YouTube Entertainment proudly brings to you the #1 web show in the world! I had to do that there, but everybody, I'm Chris Mullins. As always, this is the weekly What's Up, coming at you live on a special Tuesday edition. I would like to start off first by apologizing about not having this up last night. There was a lot of factors that came into it. I will talk about it anytime anyone wants. I just had a real bad migraine plus a lot of homework I didn't expect to have. But really, this is the weekly What's Up on a special Tuesday edition. I would like to also thank everyone last week for the views I got and the viewers. And I have 7 interesting questions I would like to go over today. And I will also explain to you about what's going to happen for next week's episode to make up for it. Well, here we go. Question number 1. What are your thoughts on Linsanity in New York? Will Jeremy Lin play in an all-star game in his career, and if so, how many? All seriousness, I love the Linsanity going on in New York because it's great for basketball and it's great for sports in general. I mean, Tebow Nation, Tebow Mania, whatever you want to call it, just ended, and because their season's over. So now you got someone else that's going to be completely getting everyone's eye on sports just because of his great story. He went from his brother's couch to a sensation overnight, so everyone's going to be clinging on to that story. That's a great story. It's something that you could make a movie about, in my opinion. And as far as All-Star Game appearances go, here's the thing that many people are probably going to be surprised about. I think Jeremy Lin could become a mainstay in the Eastern All-Stars as soon as next season. I mean, you got to think about this. He's a great point guard where, if you look at it, there's a lot of the great point guards are over it. There's a decent amount in the East, but there's way more high-quality point guards over in the West if you look at it. And then also you got to look at the factor of he's getting votes from the Asian community over in Asia. It's going to be what I'm going to refer to in this segment right here as the Yao Ming effect. Yao Ming, obviously, everyone who pays attention to basketball, is the 7'6" center that played for the Rockets for many years, just retired this year. But he would even garner votes on years that he was subpar just because all of Asia will vote for you to represent Asia in that All-Star game. And there's such a large population over there that gets the vote that there's no way that he's not going to at least start a great handful of games for the All-Stars, in my opinion. The next question on the board that we were going to talk about. Chris, do you think the Bengals should re-sign Cedric Benson? He rushed for over 1,000 yards last season, but he only averaged 3.7 yards per attempt. Is there a back that would better utilize the Bengals' run-first offense, or do you feel that he's an important part of the team? I had to think about this question for a really long while. This was a really rough question because Benson has been a huge component to the Bengals turning around after they had many years of not very great backs, except for Corey Dillon, who was hit and miss. I do not think that we need to keep Cedric Benson around here. All he's doing is aging, and his production has gone way downhill from when he was first here. And there's a few backs in the free agents that would definitely be better picks for us. I looked at the list of the free agents for backs, and we could either go get New England's BenJarvus Green-Ellis, Seattle's Marshawn Lynch, or Green Bay's Ryan Grant, all who are better options, in my opinion, than Cedric Benson. Don't get me wrong, Cedric's good, but I just think these would all be a better back because they can carry the load almost by themselves or to a large component by themselves without the need of backups, and it will help for the career growth of Bernard Scott and Brian Leonard to have a back in front of them that they don't need to carry that much of the load at the young ages they're at. And also look for the Bengals to trade up in the draft because I think they will try to go up and nab Trent Richardson, Alabama's running back, with inside the top 6. They're going to I do believe they're going to trade one of their first round picks and try to move up into the top 6 to draft that. Chris, how do you feel about plowing over catchers in baseball? Allowed or no more? This is another one that I was right in the middle for. Although it's a great thing to have, like, it's a very exciting play. There's no denying that the plow over at the plate is not one of the most exciting plays in baseball that can happen. And I'm going to cite a couple things right here that will give you both points of views, and then I'll give you my point of view. When Pete Rose plowed over Ray Fosse in the All-Star game back, I don't know the year exactly, but I just know he plowed him over. And Ray Fosse was obviously in the All-Star game, so he was obviously a great catcher. But after that collision, he was never the same player as he was before the collision. So that could have very well ended his career. But it was a great, exciting play, and everyone considers that one of the biggest plays of all time in All-Star game history. On the other side of the spectrum, like I was saying with Fosse, it does cause injuries. Last season, San Francisco Giants catcher earlier on the season, Buster Posey, was plowed over at the plate, and he broke his leg very severely and was out for the entire year. Like, he got hurt within like the first 3 weeks, I want to say, of the season. And then he was out for the rest of the season, and he's just coming back now. And he was a good young catcher too. Like, he won Rookie of the Year, I believe, the year before that last year. So he obviously had a promising career on him. It remains to be seen if he's going to be able to recover from that after that. Chris, who are your number 1 draft sleepers in the NFL draft? After looking at all the prospects at all schools, I will give you the sleepers at each position real quick. Quarterback, B.J. Coleman out of Chattanooga. Running back, Bernard Pierce out of Temple. Wide receiver, Jaron Crinner out of Arizona. Tight end, Michael Agnew out of Missouri. Offensive line, Andrew Datko out of Florida State. Defensive line, Derek Wolfe out of Cincinnati. Linebackers, Danny Trevathan out of Kentucky. Cornerbacks, Josh Norman out of Coastal Carolina. Safeties, Matt Daniels out of Duke. Kicker and punter are both from Georgia. It's the kicker Blair Walsh and the punter Drew Butler. All of those, I believe, will have a very sleeperish role in the draft, and I believe that they will be able to live up to the expectations that the teams that draft them expect. If not more, I believe they can go above and beyond. With the recent shipment of power hitters in the NL Central, how do you feel about the Reds making the playoffs this year? The Reds have truly been blessed by the baseball gods this year. That's why I get really excited when I read this question. Pujols and Fielder have both relocated for extended periods of time to the AL, which means the Reds will not have to deal with either of them aside from a 3-game series with Detroit in the interleague later on this season. Those moves, along with Braun being suspended for the first 50 games of the season, which is like the first 2 months of the season, I see a very bright season ahead for a team that focused on and nailed down all their weaknesses in this offseason with the pitching and the outfield, the corner outfielders. I believe that this season could be very exciting for Cincinnati Reds fans. Dear Chris, does the addition of J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony coming back make the Knicks a serious championship contender coming out of the Eastern Conference? Will the Knicks be able to keep up with the Heat and Bulls in the East? Last week, if you watched my show, I said that the Knicks were in my Fab 5 for the NBA, the top 5 teams to watch out for in the NBA, because of obviously the influx of Linsanity along with the complete with no one else was playing with him at that time. Amari and Melo were both out at that time last week when I was saying that. And then they go on and sign J.R. Smith. I really believe that the addition of J.R. Smith will be the downfall of the Knicks as we know it for this season. He hasn't showed me anything special in his career outside of his dunks. I think he was in a dunk contest, but even in game dunks, yes, he has some very good dunks that he has in his career, but he has a piss-poor attitude that could really doom a team that's already flooded with stars like Melo, Amari, and Linsanity, Linsanity has already come in and accepted the role that he will not be the biggest player on this team, but he will try to contribute his most. And then Melo and Amari are both committed to working with Jeremy Lin on his career. But I don't think that adding J.R. Smith was a very smart idea for a team that I really had high hopes for. Question number 6. Chris, with Matt Flynn being a free agent and a few NFL teams in need of a quarterback, where do you see him being the best fit? The best fit for him, this was actually a really easy question to answer because of what's happened throughout the whole offseason. The best fit for him, for any team in need of a quarterback, would be to go after Matt Flynn. He is easily the best quarterback out there to go after because if you think about it, Peyton Manning is obviously better skill-wise and stat-wise, but he's also a lot older and his neck is hurt. So you don't know how well he's going to hold up and if you're going to be able to count on him. I believe Matt Flynn has all the intangibles to be a superior NFL quarterback. And for the team that best fits him, that he would benefit the most for going to, it would be the Miami Dolphins. New coach Joe Philbin was the offensive coordinator in Green Bay during Flynn's stint with the Packers. And he would not have to come in and learn a new offense like many quarterbacks have to do usually. He would probably keep the same offense that they ran in Green Bay and bring this along with him to Miami. So that along with, he would also have the largest amount of help in the offense for Matt Flynn to go to. He has offensive lineman Jake Long, running back Reggie Bush, wide receiver Brandon Marshall. He has key components in that offense that could be a very high-quality offense if you add a quarterback like Matt Flynn to it. And I believe that that's the perfect mixture for a playoff appearance next season for the Miami Dolphins. Rounding out the questions today, Chris, will the Manny Ramirez signing by the A's be a good signing? Manny signing with Oakland was a good signing for both sides, actually. Manny gets money while he's an aging star. He's milking a team for, he got $500,000 just for this minor league deal. He's just going there, and he's trying to just get some more money before he retires again. And Oakland, who does not have a very wide fan base, adds a player that people want to come to see play because he is one of the best players in baseball, statistically wise, if you look at it, in my opinion, too. And he's a very exciting player to see because he's one of his own. You've heard the expression Manny being Manny. That's exactly the truth with this. And I believe it'll help sell tickets and get exposure for Oakland that they never really had because they don't really have any big names laying around in Oakland anymore. And Billy Beane did very good with this signing right here. And it will be awfully tough for them to make a playoff run in the newly star-studded AL West with you got the Rangers who have been good for a couple years with the same core of people, and then the Angels went out and got C.J. Wilson and Albert Pujols to go on with their team that was a pretty good team as it is anyway. So it should be a very exciting baseball season. Well, that's about it for this week's installment. I want to talk real quick about next week. Next week, because of the Tuesday edition that I had to do this week, next week is all call-ins. I'm not going to have any subject that I'm going to know of beforehand. I would like you to call in and just give me a topic, and me and you will discuss that topic. I will accept a couple call-ins for next week, and then it should be a great show. As always, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. I'm Chris, and that's what's up.